Hey there guys, it's Evan. I'm back with another video, and this time I'm talking about DLC speculation yet again. And today I'm focusing on a very specific character, one that I'm quite fond of. I'm sure many of you are quite fond of him as well, and that is Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright is probably an underdog when it comes to the remaining DLC fighters. He is a Capcom rep, which is highly speculated to get a new character in the game. I think most people are sort of on board with that theory, and Phoenix Wright definitely kind of fits a lot of the bills. He isn't the most popular character. I think that kind of goes to Leon and the girl's name from Resident Evil. I'm not super familiar with her. But I think I really want Phoenix in the game, and I think he has a strong case for him. So I just want to kind of go through what evidence he has going for him, maybe some things that could point to him potentially getting an inclusion, and what his moveset might look like, because I think they could do something really cool with that. So first, I like to talk about the Phoenix Wright games themselves. There have been quite a few. I think it started in 2001, and there was the original trilogy, then there was a spin-off with Apollo Justice, who's sort of like a mentor to, or not a mentor, but a mentoree to Phoenix Wright, like his understudy, I guess. A couple of spin-off games with Miles Edgeworth, the prosecutor, the lead prosecutor in the first game, and you play as him investigating crime scenes, and then they kind of rebooted the series for the 3DS. Not really a reboot, but just like a remaster, I guess, of the graphics. It got a much more updated style, like fully animated cutscenes with voice acting, which was super cool. Like fully animated characters, which were much more high def than what we were used to, because the games used to be really pixelated and not gross looking, but it was definitely rough around the edges. So this new series has kind of rebooted it, and it would be a great translation to Switch. As you may know, we do have the original trilogy remastered for Switch. It's not quite as up-to-date as the last few games that we've gotten for the 3DS, but the graphics are definitely a step up from what we've had in the past. I really think that that is a good indicator that the series is certainly not dead, that they're still thinking about it for the Switch. I'd really like to see those other games that came out. I believe they're called, I know Spirit of Justice is the most recent one, and then there was another one. I can't remember what it's called, but it stars Black Quill as the prosecutor. This guy's hair is like half black, half white. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but those two games I think would do really well to be remastered for Switch. I think that would be much better than the original trilogy. Not to say those games are not good by any means. I think they're excellent, but I think those would be really cool to have remastered on a Switch. And sort of in that same vein, there's usually a trend where the Phoenix Wright games get a new entry every 3 to 4 years or so, typically 3 years in between each game, with the exception of there's a Japanese exclusive spin-off series, but I'm not really counting that because it's not the Phoenix Wright characters, it's just the Phoenix Wright formula with different characters exclusive to Japan. I can't remember what that's called either, but I'm just kind of ignoring that for now because it's not really a Western game. So I think it's about time we saw a new game, because Spirit of Justice is the most recent one, and that came out in 2016, and we're halfway through 2019 now, guys, and we've still heard nothing about a new Phoenix Wright game. So I wouldn't be that surprised, and I would be super excited if we heard something about that, maybe in a September Direct. A first Phoenix Wright game exclusive to Switch would be insanely cool. I'm sure they could do so much with the graphics, so much with the cutscenes and stuff. I'm really excited to see if this series continues. Hopefully it will, that it gets new games and stuff. So I think that's mostly all you need to know about Phoenix Wright as a series, and I'm going to start talking about the case for him in Smash Brothers right now. So as you may know, there's a couple of theories going around about the Smash Brothers DLC, some of them being like the Me costume theory, which I did a video on, check it out if you'd like. Color theory, which I'll touch on briefly, it's an interesting one. Companion theory, another kind of up in the air one. But Phoenix Wright sort of works for all of these theories, and I'll tell you why in a second. So Me costume theory is basically the idea that because of the Me costumes that were lacking in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, we will be getting some back based on the companies that are lacking costumes. So for instance, we're missing right now Capcom, Square Enix, and Bandai Namco. So the idea is that we were going to get a new unrepresented company in Smash, which is Banjo-Kazooie by Microsoft, a Square Enix rep, which is Dragon Quest, which hopefully will bring back the Genome costume and some other, like the Chocobo hat, things like that. A Bandai Namco rep, which we haven't seen, and Capcom rep, which we haven't seen. Now, I'm sort of changing my mind on this theory. I'm not sure if it's 100% because it is very predictable. I think it's hard to say at this point because the box theory for the base roster was very predictable. A lot of people thought it was too predictable to be true, but it was true. So it's really tough to say if this is the case or not, but I'm leaning towards no. I'm starting to think about it, and I just feel like a Bandai Namco rep is not what this game needs right now. I could be wrong, but I just don't see it happening, and I think Capcom does stand a really good chance of having a representative, but I think they always did. Capcom is like one of the biggest game companies in the world, and they have tons to offer, especially for Smash Brothers. So I think we will be seeing a Capcom rep, but I guess if Mii Costume Theory is true, Phoenix Wright fits with that. He is a Capcom character. Now the next theory that I want to talk about is color theory, which is the idea that every new character that we're getting in the DLC is assigned a color on the Smash Brothers website. So people are saying, well, we're not going to get repeating colors, and they think that some of them are like maybe the colors of the rainbow, or like just every color is different, and one of the main primary colors that is missing right now is blue, which would definitely be the color of Phoenix Wright. He has his entire suit is blue, he's got a red tie, but like, his primary color is definitely blue. So he fits with color theory as well. I definitely take less weight in this one. I don't think it's necessarily, I think it's reaching a bit, but I mean, if it does happen to be true, Phoenix Wright still fits the bill. Okay guys, and the last one is called companion theory, which if you've noticed on the Smash poster, I guess, or the Everyone Is Here poster, it shows every new character, and for all of the DLC fighters, they're all interacting, or they have like a little companion that goes with their game. So first, the Piranha Plant is watering a Pikmin, which is not necessarily, it's a bit of a stretch, but it is a character that is small and he's interacting with it, so people are counting that, I think. Joker has Morgana, which is a character you play as in Persona 5. I guess she's like one of the main secondary characters, I suppose. She's a little cat. And she doesn't really come up much in his moveset other than his taunts. So it's interesting that they decided to include her in the banner art. And then Banjo-Kazooie, of course, has Kazooie on his back, which is part of the character, but it's still a additional creature. It's a partner or companion theory. It fits. And then the Dragon Quest XI Luminary has the slime, which again is sort of a weird inclusion. I guess it is part of a taunt, but I think it's just a little bit odd that they decided to do that with all of the characters so far. And this one I do believe is also a bit of a stretch. I think it's a weird thing, but it stuck out to me as well. I noticed that when all of the characters, I saw them on the banner, I was like, it's weird that they all have some little thing that they're doing, or like a little character that they're with. So people are saying that there isn't a small like animal creature really in Phoenix Wright, but who is prevalent in all the games is his assistant Maya, who is sort of this spirit medium. She's like a little puppy dog person. She's fun. She's like eccentric. She's sort of the less serious half of the duo. And she wasn't in the second to last game, but she reappears in the latest game as a master of her craft, the spirit channeling, I guess. But people are thinking that that would be a great pick for Phoenix Wright, whereas a lot of the other candidates who are in contention don't have somebody to pick from. So, I mean, like I said, this one's kind of iffy. It's impossible to say because they could have every character have a companion, and then the last one they're like, no companion. So, I mean, it's not really, it's just a trend, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so some people argue that Phoenix Wright would have a really weak moveset, but I disagree strongly. I can think of quite a few things that Phoenix Wright could do that would make him just like a really goofy character, but stay true to his theme. Like, his side smash could just be like his signature finger point, where he like throws his hand out and like smacks enemies with it. He's known for being a sickly person in some of the games. He's like always wearing like a face mask when he's sick, and he sneezes a lot. So I think it would be interesting to have like an up smash or a down smash where he sneezes and like it hits enemies or something like that. I don't know. That one's a bit of a stretch as well. But Like, maybe his dash attack could be, you know how Villager and Isabel, they like trip and throw a pot? I think it would be cool if he like tripped and threw like a bunch of documents like it was evidence or something. That would be interesting, and it would be sort of in his like goofy, clumsy nature. He is like that. I think it would be really, really cool if he had a counter where he held up his attorney's badge, and when someone hits him, he like throws out a word bubble and it says "take that." Because like if you've seen in the games, when you ever like object or present evidence, he says like "take that" and "objection," and it's a big word bubble that fills up the entire screen with like these signature red letters. You'd recognize it if you saw it, I think. But I think it would be super cool if he had a counter and he says like "take that" and the word bubble pops up, and that's what does the damage. That would be super, super cool. I feel like you sort of have to do that if Phoenix Wright was in the game. I would be very disappointed if they didn't do something like that for his counter. I think that would be super cool. His aerials could just be like regular punches and kicks and like spinning, and maybe implement his hair because he has like really spiky hair and they always make jokes about it. So maybe they could do something where he like stabs someone with his hair. I'm kind of stretching here, but I feel like aerials are sort of the less focused on, and I'm thinking like maybe the dash attack, the counter, his specials, his neutral B could be like throwing his books or something, maybe throwing a coffee mug. They do that a lot in the games, especially in the third one. Godot is he's a prosecutor, and he throws his coffee all the time at people, so maybe like a little throwback to that would be cool. Just stuff like that. And I had an idea for his final smash, and I think that it would be like whenever you activate it, it takes the effect of the area directly in front of you, sort of like Fox or like Captain Falcon or something, and a giant objection pops up bubble, and if you're caught inside the bubble, then it takes you to the courtroom, and the person whoever's hidden it is like on the witness stand, and then maybe there's like a giant judge, and he says like this court finds the defendant guilty, and he slams his gavel down and crushes them, and then that would be so cool. I love that. I love that so much. I can like picture it perfectly. I don't know if you guys can, but like I can just see like the camera angle and like the gavel coming down and then being like, ah. I think something like that would be so freaking cool. And obviously his stage would probably be like the courtroom or something, with the two sides, and maybe have, I don't know, something going on in there, like a jury, and maybe they'll cheer for whoever's winning or something like that. But something like that would be super cool. I know Phoenix Wright isn't the most popular character, but he also isn't the least popular character. And a lot of fan polls, Phoenix Wright almost always makes top 10, sometimes top 5. I've seen him in top 3 before, and I think that's just because everyone who's like really contended for has mostly gotten in the game. I don't think there's a ton of characters that we haven't seen get into the game that tons of people want. Like Banjo-Kazooie was one of the last ones, and all the other ones have been deconfirmed as like assist trophies or spirits. So Phoenix Wright is one of the only ones who still has a great fan backing, is eccentric enough for the game. His games have been almost, not exclusively, but very primarily pushed on Nintendo consoles since the Game Boy era. He was on Game Boy, he was on Wii, he was on, I don't know if he was on Wii U, but he was definitely on Game Boy, Wii, 3DS, DS, now Switch. He's been on basically every console except for the Wii U, and I just think that he hasn't really been on any other consoles except for mobile and PC, which don't really count. I feel like the bulk of sales are from Nintendo. So he's definitely a Capcom character, but I associate him strongly with Nintendo myself. So I think a lot of people would be vouching for this character, and I think he definitely has a strong chance, at least stronger than a lot of people think. And I would contend that if a new Phoenix Wright game props its head up anytime soon, then we can definitely think that there's a strong, strong chance that Phoenix Wright might be showing up in Smash Brothers. So if you have any thoughts on this, any thoughts on me costume theory, go check out my other video. Maybe leave a comment, subscribe, like this video, share it with your friends. I don't have a ton of subscribers or anything, but every little bit helps to maybe build my channel. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Stay tuned for my Hollow Knight series. I'm playing that right now. I just posted my first video. There will probably be others up before I post this one, but you know how it is. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.